It's over, Blomquist bros. Yeah? This is the video we all didn't want to make. It's a video I didn't want to make, but the pin has been pulled, man. The plug has been pulled, is what I should be saying. I think Shank has made the decision to drop Tom Blomqvist for 2024. Well, at least that's what was reported. The team itself hasn't said that yet. As far as we're concerned, the team said the next 2 races, but if a commentator is saying Blomqvist isn't going to be back, he's probably not going to be back. And that's a shame, you know. Anybody that knows Tom Blomqvist knows that he's quite the talent, and he's an even nicer guy. I had the absolute pleasure of meeting Tom when I went to Daytona in January. And he put on quite a show there, and when I was watching him race, I was like, yo, this guy's him, bro. And we know Tom Blomqvist is him when it comes to sports cars. But he clearly is not him when it comes to driving Indy cars. Or maybe he is, but if he is, the results aren't showing it. Yes, Tom's done 8 IndyCar races in his career. He's done 5 points paying races so far this year. And his highest finish is a 15th place finish at St. Petersburg. His highest qualifying effort this year is 12th at Barber. And in that race, he came 19th. And it's safe to say that what really sparked this decision from Shank was his lap 1 crash at the Indy 500. And I've been reading reports saying, well, and it's been pretty much confirmed that the reason they're doing this is because of the leader's circle. If you finish top 20 in the standings, I believe it is the top 20, yes? If you finish top 20 in the standings, you get the $1 million or more. And if you don't, you're in the top 22. That's how it goes. You need to be in the top 22 to get the leader's circle money. And at the moment, that 66 car is not there because Tom has not been putting it where it needs to be in order for them to be in a spot where they might get that money. So they've pulled the pin. And what I don't understand is, I understand that Tom hasn't been performing up to standards. I get that, yeah? But putting Castroneves in the car, especially for Detroit, was quite the head scratcher for me. Not only that, but here's another thing I was thinking about. And I guess it just didn't occur to them at the time because they didn't think Tom was going to have as bad an Indy 500 as he ended up having. But if we remember at Indy, Ed Carpenter drove the number 20 car. And it was Rasmussen in the 33. And I believe that was a leader's circle decision, low key. I think that was a leader's circle decision. And if it was a smart one. One would have hoped at least that maybe Shank would have done that. You know, they'd put Tom in the 06 and put Helio in the 66, seeing that Helio is more experienced at Indy and more likely to bring a better result. I thought it would have made more sense for them to do that little number switch right there to help the 66 car in the leader's circle. But clearly they think that the best way to get that top 22 finish in the standings is to sack Tom, at least from the car. Shank says he's still with the team. But what does being with the team mean in this case? There's a good chance we're not going to see Tom in the Shank 66 for the rest of the year. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that he's not going to be in the 66. The team hasn't confirmed it, but a commentator has. And it's just a shame, you know, because the reason we're even in this situation is because Tom was elite I was about to say yesterday. Tom was elite in his stints with Shank where sports car racing is concerned. And Tom's just an elite sports car racer in general. But he stood out last year. He's won 2 of the 3 Rolex 24s he's ever participated in. He won 3 IMSA races in the top class last year in Shank's Acura GTP car. And he was just exhibiting a level of talent that was like, hey man, let's try and put this guy in the IndyCar. And they did. He did 3 IndyCar races last year. And he didn't particularly finish well in any of them, unfortunately. But there was still something there that Shank was like, all right, let's give you know, Tom a shot. And it's the least they could do, because after they shut down after Shank shut down the hypercar team in IMSA, Tom didn't really have anywhere to go. So him getting the IndyCar seat was kind of a lifesaver, even though a guy like Tom would probably get a seat anywhere, just given how good he is, whether it be an LMP2 seat somewhere or a hypercar seat either here in the World Endurance. He's definitely talented enough to fill that role. But the IndyCar seat came up and he took it. 2 Shank cars this year, one for Felix Rosenqvist and one for Tom Blomqvist. And without question, Rosenqvist has outdriven Blomqvist all season. It's not even close. Rosenqvist has 2 top 5s this year. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 10s in 6 starts. Meanwhile, obviously, as I read it out earlier, Tom Blomqvist's highest finish this year is a 15th at St. Pete. So I guess the question now is, what does Tom do from here? What's Blomqvist gonna do? I don't know. It's gonna be a tricky one. The only way I can see Tom Blomqvist coming back to IndyCar this year is in the 51 coin car. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I've been clamoring for Oliver Askew to get that seat, just so that we can see Askew behind the wheel of an IndyCar again. But I feel like I'm just yelling into a void when I call for Askew to get a race seat anywhere. I want it so bad, but it's just deep down I feel like I know it's not gonna happen. But it wouldn't hurt for them to put Tom in the 51. You know, he's done every race this year bar Detroit. So it's a guy that's used to driving Indy cars. I mean, if you're gonna put Vautier in the car, you might as well give Tom Blomqvist a go. What's the worst that could happen? No one's really expecting much from the 51 car this year. It's not like it's gonna finish in the leader's circle. They're putting anyone in that car. Yeah, Catherine Legg, Colin Brown, flipping Luca Giotto. I don't even know. That's the most random of all the signings. Siegel was in it. They're just putting anyone in it. So honestly, if they put Tom in the 51, if Tom Blomqvist drives the 51 on like road courses for the remainder of the year, I don't think that would be too bad a decision. I think it would be a smart one by Cohen. It'd be just a way to have some kind of normalcy in the seat, and I'm sure Shank wouldn't mind. You know, I'm sure that's something they wouldn't mind. Maybe if Tom goes there, gets time to drive a car where he's not being pressured to perform necessarily, a car that isn't going to make the leader's circle, and a car that Tom can drive for the remainder of the year and just build up his seat time, build up racing an Indy car over a season. If it still doesn't work out, then Tom can just go back to sports cars, man. Just be the demon we know he is. I'm sure there's tons of sports car teams right now willing to welcome Tom with open arms. I would love to see Tom back in an Acura. I'd love to see Tom in the 31 full time. I think that would be a great signing. He's done a pretty good job so far for Action Express. That epic stint at the Rolex 24, the last stint that he drove where he was chasing down Nazar, and that epic overtake he did. Tom Blomqvist is him. He may not be him behind an Indy car, but he can become him behind an Indy car if he gets more time. I don't necessarily find this to be a harsh decision. You know, it's kind of the norm when people, you know, a driver gets dropped and the immediate Twitter reaction is, oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I do think it is harsh to drop him for the entire season. I don't think it's that deep. But again, if they do that, then there needs to be somebody that they can put in the 66 for the rest of the year. And that guy can't be Castroneves. I don't think Elio Castroneves is necessarily going to put the car where it needs to be on a road course or on a street course. Maybe an oval. But for road courses and street courses, you're going to need to source yourself another driver, maybe a Connor Daly or something. But I think if Tom Blomqvist does come back to IndyCar at any point this year, it might be in the 51, and I think it should be in the 51. I think Shank should find a way to get Tom in the 51. If it can't be for the rest of the season, just for a couple races this year, get Tom some more seat time. Yeah? If clearly you haven't sacked him, and you haven't sacked him for a reason, because you still see some kind of value in him. I don't think he's going to be put back in the 66 this year. Put Tom in the 51, let him develop, or just fire him. Cut ties with Tom Blomqvist and let bro go search for a seat, whether it be in IndyCar or in sports car racing. But there's no use holding him ransom if you're not going to use him. I don't know where he's going to go, but I hope wherever he goes, it is a place he can thrive. Tom Blomqvist is a great guy and he's a great driver, and I want to see him succeed. That's the end of the rant. In turn, well, it's not really a rant though, is it? But yeah, in turn out.